Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with the next update for my Pan Those Eyeshadows. I absolutely love this project, as you all know, and I think a lot of you guys do too. It is a project that has been around for years and years now. It was originally created by Alexi. She doesn't post on YouTube anymore or Instagram really, but I will still have her channel linked down below. This is a project where, as the name suggests, you focus on panning eyeshadows, and everyone does it slightly differently. My specific rules this year is that I work on 4 shadows at any point in time, and my goal is to either hit pan on them or use them 20 times. So that is kind of like my main rules. On top of that, I also use the prompt list that Laney has created, so I don't randomize my eyeshadows that are completely random in my collection. I do select a prompt randomly and then I choose my eyeshadow from there. So that is the main gist, I guess, of my rules. I am going to jump into the update, but before I do that, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. Two things to start off with before we get into the video. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I decided to do a little bit of a green look today. I didn't go too crazy because I do have a midwife appointment later, so I didn't want to go like too crazy green, but this is a good like everyday type of green look. And second of all, I still have a cold. I don't know if you saw my last video, but I have been quite sick, so if I sound congested at all, it's because I am. So please excuse that if you can hear it in my voice. I do feel much better, but it's just, yeah, it's just all kind of like very congested, if that makes sense. I'm just struggling to breathe a little bit. But I'm going to jump into the first shade that has been in the project since the start, and that is a single from Sydney Grace. So the shade that I have is this one right here, and I rolled this one in for a matte blue shadow, and this is, again, like I said, from Sydney Grace. It's the shade Perfect Storm. So when I first rolled it in, it had a little bit of use, nothing like, you know, too crazy, but I had used it a handful of times. In the first month, I did reach for this one 5 times, and this is what it looked like at that point. So a little bit of use, nothing again too extreme. It was only 5 uses, and Sydney Grace shadows are very, very hard pressed, or like very pigmented and very firm, so I wasn't expecting too much of a dip. And this is what this one looks like today, so you can see hopefully a little bit more of a dip. I have actually used this one exactly 5 times again this month for a total of 10 times, and this is where it's sitting now. I am halfway to my usage goal, and realistically I do think I'm going to hit that usage goal before I hit pan. So yes, I have it in here. Ignore this shadow, it's just another one that I'm working on a different project, but this shadow right here is the one I'm talking about, and as you can see right there, there is a little bit of a dip showing, nothing too crazy. But yeah, 10 uses on this shadow for now, and it is of course staying in the project. It is a beautiful, beautiful kind of dusty blue shadow. I'm swatching it there on my finger. Let me go ahead and swatch it out on the hand too, so you can see what it looks like. There we have that blue. So like I said, it's more of a dusty type of blue, but it's really, really flattering, really versatile. I can wear it with neutrals, or I can wear it with more blue looks, and I really have been enjoying that shadow. So that is the first one, and of course, since I haven't hit my usage goal nor pan, this one is staying in the project. The second shadow that I have is also another single, and this one comes from Terra Moon. It has also been in since the beginning of this project, and that is this shade right here called Land on the Stars. And this one I rolled in for a shadow starting with L, so I could have gone for anything, but I went for this bright neon yellow, and it is a really stunning shade. It has been so much fun to reach for. I reach for this one a lot in my like in the corners or as a like accent color in my looks, just because it is so bright, and that's kind of mainly how I've been using it. In the first month I reached for this one 4 times, so not quite as much as the Terra Moon shadow, but I did reach for it, you know, a decent amount. And this is what it looked like at that point. So this is what it looked like at the last update, and since then I have kept working on it, and I actually reached for this one 8 additional times, and this is where it's sitting today. So I'm happy to report that I have a pan in this project. This is after 12 uses total in the project, so I'm very, very happy to be showing that pan, and we do have a shade rolling out of this project. So yes, it's a very small pan, but it is a pan nonetheless. So that is it right there. You can see it's glimmering around. I did hit pan on this one yesterday, so very recently. And that is a swatch, by the way. As you can see again, it is a very neon yellow. To note with the shadow though, that it's not as deep as other shades. I don't know if you can compare it to that blue. You can hopefully see that it's quite shallow in the pan. This shade actually shattered on me at one point and I had to repress it. So that's why I lost some of the shadow and that's why it's more shallow. So I definitely was able to hit pan on this one quite quickly just because it is so shallow. But yeah, I'm excited to have another pan in this project. It's my second pan in total in this project since we started it, well, I guess this year at least, and it does mean that we have a rollout. So yeah, very excited, and we're gonna move on to the next shade, which also comes from Karen Moons. So the third shade that we have in the palette is actually another yellow, and this one I rolled in for the prompt a yellow shimmer. So this is kind of like a yellow shade with a pink to blue shift, and this is called Lightspeed. So in the first month this was in the project, this has also been in for 2 months now. I reached for this one 4 times, so same as the matte yellow shade. I didn't always reach for them together, but that's just how it ended up being, and this is what it looked like at that point. So I did have a dip showing, nothing like too crazy again, especially after these 4 uses, but since then I have reached for this one 6 additional times, and this is what it looks like today. So as you can see, we have a second pan. I'm very excited. I was definitely sure I was going to be able to hit pan on this one in the past month. It is a really beautiful shade, and it is also one that you can use kind of built up or as a topper. You can use this as an iconic highlight or all over the lid. So it's quite a versatile shade, and that's also one of the reasons why I think I hit pan on it. I did use it a lot as a topper, so I kind of used a big brush, picked it up, and then topped it off top of all the eyeshadow looks. And I think that's one of the reasons why I was able to hit pan relatively fast. So yes, we do have another pan. Now you can see the whole quad here. So that is the second shade that I pan on, and as you can see there, it is that yellow shimmer. So we do have these 2 pans, which means we have 2 shades rolling out. The blue one is staying in from this quad, of course. But yeah, I'm very excited, and looking at the swatch right there, that is that yellow shade. You can see the yellow base and then that blue shift running through, but if I look at it, I can see an like pink shift going into almost an orange shift. It's very stunning. But yeah, that is the next shade, and we do have another rollout, so super excited about that. And I did hit pan on this one quite a while ago, so you know, I knew this one was going to roll out, and then that matte yellow I only hit pan on yesterday, so it's kind of nice because we're going to roll out both of those yellow shades and hopefully get a completely new color story. And then the last shadow that we have to talk about comes from this palette right here. This is the Natasha Denona Love palette, and I rolled this one in for the prompt any matte shadow, so I could work on anything, and I decided to go with this shadow right here, which is a matte kind of pinky shade. This one is called Valentine. I rolled this one in for 2 reasons. First up, I did actually film my last update on Valentine's Day, so I thought this one was a perfect shade to roll in on that day. And second of all, I thought this like light pink camo shade would be quite a versatile one. Again, I could reach for it with pink looks, which I had been doing a lot before that point, and also I could, you know, incorporate into neutral look, stuff like that. But it was also relatively untouched at the point of rolling into the project. Since then I have reached for this one 6 times, and this is what it looks like today. So you can see a little bit of usage, nothing too crazy. This is one of Natasha Denona's matte formulas, so not one of our creamy mattes, which means that this one takes longer for sure. It's a very firmly pressed shadow, but yeah, 6 uses I'm happy with, and I'm obviously going to continue working on it, and it's also staying in the project. So yeah, that is the shadow right there. I have used the Pottered because it is magnetic, but you can see there's a little bit of a dip after 6 uses, but it's slow moving, guys. It is a matte shadow from Natasha Denona, so I was expecting it to move much quicker than this. But it's been a really fun shadow to reach for. Like I said, it's been quite versatile, and that is it right there. So it's like a warm pink, like light pink kind of shade, and I really have loved this one a lot. And that is the full color story I've been working on. Very pastel, very kind of, you know, winter into spring, I would say. This blue is definitely wintry, and then that blue shift in here also helps it one be more wintry, whereas these 2 mattes right there definitely a bit more kind of springy. But yeah, I've been loving this color story. It's been a fun kind of pop of color to work on, and again, this one is staying in as well as the Sydney Gray shade. So currently with both of those shadows, I'm sitting at 10 uses for the blue shade and then 6 uses with this pink shade. And since both of them are quite firm matte formulas, I'm expecting them to both be in until the 20 users point. So I'm definitely going to try to work on them a little bit harder in the next month, especially for that blue. I might even try to get it out next month, so use it 10 times. We'll see if I'm able to do that or not. I'm patting a lot of white eyeshadow, so we'll see kind of what I'm working on, but that would be nice because then it would have been in for 3 months. But if I don't get it out next month, it will definitely be out within 2 months. And then with this pink shade, I'm not too fussed about having it out next month specifically, because that would be 14 more uses, unless again by some miracle I hit pan. But again, if I can get half of that amount out of the way and I can roll it out in 2 months time, I will be pleased with that too. But those are the 2 shadows staying in. I'm going to go ahead and roll in 2 more shades. First up, I'm going to swatch the 2 shades staying in here so you can see my new color story, and then roll 2 new prompts. So there we have those 2 shades staying in, the blue and the pink, and it's 2 matte, so depending on what I roll, I think I'm probably going to focus on rolling in some shimmer shades, but of course if I roll like a matte prompt, then I'm going to have to go with a matte. But I've had a lot of mattes in this project, so I think my goal is to roll in some shimmers, but again, the wheel will decide what goes in. So I'm pulling up my Pan Those Eyeshadows wheel, and we're gonna go ahead and pick 2 prompts. We have a Colourpop shimmer. That's good. So we do have like a shimmer shade at least. That is the first one. And then the second prompt is gonna be a shadow starting with Q. Okay, Q is very interesting. I'm gonna go have a look in my collection, see what I want to roll in for those 2 prompts. Again, I'll see if I can roll in 2 shimmers. So obviously the Colourpop shimmer is fine anyway. And then we'll see if I can find a shadow starting with Q that is a shimmer. I'm gonna have to refer back to my spreadsheet to see what I have starting with Q. But yeah, I will pick those out and then I will go ahead and show you what is rolling in. I'm back and I've chosen my new shadows. So we of course have 2 shadows rolling in, and I have swatched them out right here. So this is my new color story. I decided to roll in 2 shimmers. I did find 2 shimmers, one more neutral and then a bit more colorful one. So I can talk you through them. For the Colourpop shimmer, if you don't know, I'm working on all my departed single Colourpop shadows in my palette in order, so I didn't want to roll any of those in because, again, I'm working on them in a different project. Not quite yet, I'm not working on them all yet, but I do want to kind of keep them for that project because I do want to pan in order and not just jump around. So I decided to go with one from a palette, and the palette I chose is the Going Coconut palette because I wanted to go for something a bit more neutral. I've had a lot of colors, as you can see, so I wanted to go for a neutral shade. And in here I did have 2 shimmers to choose between. We had this one here and this one here. This shade I already had pan on, and I decided to go with the middle shade called Cocoa Crush, and I think that's going to be a nice neutral shade to work on. One is going to be quite versatile and also good for every day. So yeah, that is what I'm rolling in, and again, that is the swatch of it right there. Then for my second shade, it's actually quite funny because this is a very brand new shadow in my collection. I decided to roll in this single right here. I haven't even shown you these yet. I purchased a couple singles from Shine by SD, and I literally just got them in last week. I haven't worn this shade yet. I won a handful of them, I think 2 or 3 of them so far, but this one I haven't even worked on, like on my eyes yet. But this here, I thought I would roll in because it was a shadow starting with Q. These were the 2 shadows that I was debating between. This is the shadow that I went with, and then that shadow here is from Cleona. It's the shade Quest, but I decided to go for the more kind of neutral, versatile option. It's not like neutral per se, it does definitely have a shift to it, and it's more of a, yeah, it's like a blue to purple and a holographic shade too. This again is from Shine by SD, and it is the shade Quantum, and it is one of the Halo Horizon shades, so it's one of their like holographic shades. I don't know if you can see there on my finger a bit better how like holographic it is. So it's like a holographic shade but also multichrome, and I thought that one would be super fun to roll in. It is brand new, but I do want to reach for all my singles this year, so I don't want to like save it necessarily. So I thought I would roll this one in, just because it fits the prompt of Q. So yeah, I'm really excited to roll that shade in. I think it's going to be fun. It is a versatile shade in the sense that I can use it as a topper. I think it will work really nice with that blue. I think it will work with more neutral looks. I can probably even top it on top of like the neutral shimmer if I want. I can use it as an iconic highlight if I sheer it out. Like you can see here on my wrist, it's quite sheer. So I do think I can get a lot of use out of this one, and it's going to be fun to reach for. It's also going to be fun to play with this new formula. I do have one of the Halo Horizon shades. It's actually the one that I had in that palette. Let me show you. It is that shade right there, but I do think they changed the formula since I purchased this shade. So it's going to be fun to play with a new formula from the Halo Horizon line. So that is going to be my new color story. Again, old one versus new one. Definitely a bit more muted out than neutral. I just wanted to get a bit more solid in here and like not as many bright shades, and I also wanted to get some more shimmer shades in, which I did. So I'm very happy. For next month, I'm not sure if I will have anything like hit pan on. I will try to hit my musical on that blue so that I can roll out, and maybe this neutral shade if I can use it enough. I might have a rolling out, but again, Colourpop shimmers or Colourpop shades in general can be quite deceivingly difficult to pan on. But we'll see. I'll try my very best, but that is going to be my new color story. I think it's so pretty. I think it's very seasonal appropriate. It's like winter into spring. And yeah, very excited to work on these shades. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video here. I hope you guys are having an amazing day wherever you are. I hope you guys aren't sick as I am. And yeah, just hope you are having a lovely day. Bye guys!